record participants. Jake, make host. Okay, you should be host and you should be able to turn your camera on now.
Boom.
There you go.
And then do I need to turn it back to you right now?
No. You're good right now. I'll hit reclaim host after your intro is done.
Perfect. Awesome.
How is your daughter?
She's doing great. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
She's back in doing great. They thought maybe they were worried that maybe she had cystic fibrosis for a while, but they ruled that out. And so she's back running the household.
They do that. Well, I'm glad she doesn't have CF. That would be a whole lot more serious diagnosis.
Yeah.
I personally think it was the princess toys that magically cured her. But
I think so too. The princess power.
Yes, and then unfortunately, I showed my wife the video your daughter sent, and then my daughters heard it and like, hey, we don't have one of those. I'm like, come on, you have a whole room full of princess toys. You don't need any more.
Yeah.
But luckily, I have an e-commerce toy client who happened to come on board around the same time and sent us big boxes of their toys for samples. And I distracted my daughters with that and said, here, go play with this.
Yeah. This is so at the end are we live streaming right now? Okay, yes. Awesome. So I'd love to. I'm a super big fan, right? So can I interrupt you at some point? And
this is informal. So yeah, okay. I am going to go through slides and teach them a bunch of stuff, but you can interrupt and comment, ask questions. You can chime in with your experience because obviously you've done this. And I'm going to tell everybody the first slot available is already taken because it was you guys.
This is super awesome. I'm super excited.
All right. Yeah. So I've got 12. So on Eastern time on my clock. So if you want to dive in, I'm good to go.
Yeah, let's do it. So I am going to, okay. Welcome everybody. This is I'm so excited to have you guys here today and talk about my good friend, Seth Green. Man, I've known Seth for a long time now. Seth and I actually met standing in line for an Uber outside of a hotel at the Traffic and Conversion Summit in San Diego. You remember that, Seth?
I do remember you being, I'm like, these people are coming up to me in Uber lines now. It's great. I love it.
And it was just like, we only had a couple of minutes, but Seth made an impression on us. We exchanged cards and we've been kind of talking for a couple of years. And then this year, we really started working together on some projects. He started helping us, but just so you know, Seth's an amazing guy. I want to tell you a little bit about Seth. Seth, at a Dan Kennedy event, during Dan's first presentation of the event about the state of the industry and stuff like that, Dan talked about Seth for about 3 minutes, and he was talking about the cutting edge stuff that Seth was doing, and he made him stand up so that everybody could know who he was. And at the end of the event, Seth was just kind of mobbed because so many people wanted to meet him because of what Dan Kennedy had said about him and what he was doing. And Seth is always speaking at different conventions. We're always talking. He shared with me something he's developed over the last year, and it has been amazing for us personally. I'm going to let him kind of tell you what it is, and then I'll tell you what it's done for us. But it's put a lot of juice behind our business, and we're really, really putting it on steroids, and it's getting other people to promote our business. It's like a way to get 50 of your dream referral sources and your centers of influence to promote your business. So we're getting them to promote Taxbot. I had some kind of misconception, or it sounded amazing, but once we actually started doing it, it was even better than I thought. So it's really cool because it's really put us in a place where before we even ask our partner, these people that we would love to promote our business, to do it, we actually are building a relationship in a way with them that's actually like fostering some real relationships that are going to last a really long time and are going to be worth a lot of money to us over time. I just want you to imagine, like, pick 50 of the highest level centers of influence or people that you would love to promote your business, and what if they would promote your business for you? How would that affect you? Seth is like just a genius strategist. He's been nominated, or he's been not nominated, but he's been the direct response marketing expert in the business for a long time. He's a 7 times best-selling author. He runs the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, and which just, I believe, got named the top 6 podcasts to listen to by NASDAQ. Is that right?
That is. It's super exciting.
He's always on the news, NBC, CBS, Forbes, and he has done this for lots of different companies. And he's currently working with, 5 or 10 clients doing this, of which we are one. So we've been super happy with what Seth's been doing for us, and he's going to share that stuff with you today. Today we're going to be talking about the 3 secrets to getting others to grow your business for you. Seth, I'm super excited to have you here and to share, and I am just such a huge fan. So thank you so much for being with us. And I know that you don't work with a lot of clients, and we happen to be one of them. So thanks for letting us in. And I'm going to just turn it over to you and let you kind of share this strategy that I'm so excited about.
Wow. Okay. So first of all, you got to go with me like everywhere. That's awesome. You can introduce me everywhere. That was amazing. I greatly appreciate the fan appreciation. That's awesome. It never gets old. All right. So let me hit the button here. All right. We should be good to go. Okay. And everybody, you can see and hear me. You can see and hear my screen. Okay. So we are here to talk about the proven rock. I mean, Jake just told you everything, right? Webinar over. Not really. He didn't tell you how to do it. All right, so let's talk about the proven rock solid system for getting others to grow your business for you, even if you've tried everything else and it's failed. So this is for you if you are sick of growing your business by yourself, right? You're the rainmaker in chief, and it's exhausting trying to run the business and grow the business at the same time. If you're tired of wasting time on social media and not getting a really, really positive ROI for your results, this is for you. And if you're fed up with marketing that just isn't working to get you the results you want, then you're in the right place. Quick question, quick poll, for lack of a better term. Type in the chat box, what is a client worth to you? I know the range is going to vary all over the map. If your client's worth $500, if they're worth $50,000, give me some type of number in the chat box. We're going to make this interactive. So what is a client worth to you? Give me a number in the chat box. All right. Karen, 10,000. Alexandra, 200,000. Alexandra, we got to talk. Kevin, 5,000. Willis, 65. I'm not going to read all of them. Awesome. 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 Okay. So you guys all have high ticket transaction value. So that's perfect. Because if you were selling like a $2 slice of pizza, this won't work for you. Let me show you what our client Paul had to say real quick.
Hey, this is Paul Partridge from haydenrock.com. Just wanted to take 2 minutes to say what our experience has been on the podcast. We have one called the Accounting Success Podcast, and we've had a number of really great guests. People seem to be thrilled to just to be asked to be on it. So that part is great. It's been great for us getting our word out. But kind of on the results side, our book is about a month from being published. And before it's even published, we already have clients that are signing up from the podcast. So in terms of return on investment, we'll already have fees in excess of anything we paid, certainly to Seth and his team, before the book even gets published. So we're way ahead of the game. We feel like we're only in the second or third inning. And so by the time we get to inning number 9, it's going to be even better. But it's off to a great start, and we couldn't be happier.
All right, so that's Paul. This is the book he was talking about, and we'll tell you what all of that means in just a second. If you'll stay till the end, Jake kind of teased a little bit. I will tell you how you can get booked as a guest on our number 6 rated podcast in 2019, which we normally charge $497 for, and you can get on absolutely free. All right, so this is Roger Bannister, who back in 1954, some of you may know, he broke the 4-minute mile. He was the first human being to run a mile in under 4 minutes. And before he did it, it was thought to be physically impossible. Doctors had said you would die, like your heart would explode. The human body just wasn't meant to run that fast, and nobody did it until Roger Bannister broke the record. And then all of a sudden, 1,400 runners have run 4-minute miles because the mental block was lifted. And there's obviously a major motion picture starring Kim Basinger about Roger Bannister and what he did. My 4-minute mile was, I wanted to get in the door without cold calling, without going to boring networking events, without wasting money. I wanted to get in the door with the high-level centers of influence who could totally change your business, like Jake mentioned, like overnight. Like he mentioned, if you were here before we officially started, like he interviewed Perry Marshall earlier this morning for this project. Like Perry sends out an email, game over. I mean, Jake gets thousands and thousands of customers in one shot. As he mentioned, I do have the good fortune to find a number of years ago and work with and beg my wife to let me borrow the money to go hire legendary marketing guru Dan Kennedy. And Dan said, the first thing you got to do is be an expert. And I said, that's great, Dan, but I'm like 22 at the time. That was a long time ago. I'm young, I'm dumb, I'm broke, I don't know anything. How am I going to be an expert? And he said, write a book. And authors are perceived as experts. I said, that's awesome. That's a great idea. But again, I don't know anything to write about yet. I'm new. And the first homework assignment he gave me was to read this book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. How many of you have read Think and Grow Rich? Put I have if you've read it. Type I've read it in the chat box. Let's see just how many folks on here have read Think and Grow Rich. All right, Jake, of course. Britton, Stephanie, Melanie, Queb. All right, I can't read it fast enough. Okay, awesome. You've all read it. Okay, great. If you haven't, go Google Think and Grow Rich right now. Order on Amazon for $5 and get it. And I realized reading the book, it was an interview book, right? Napoleon Hill didn't know anything. He interviewed 500 of the richest people of his time, thanks to Andrew Carnegie, and then wrote about it. And I said, I can interview people and write about it. So I reached out to 10 to 15 of the top marketing luminaries that in the marketing industry, in the marketing world at the time of this, about 6 years ago. And I didn't say I wanted to sell them anything or I wanted their business. I said, media appearance, want to interview you for my podcast. Want to interview you for my book. And I reached out to more than 15, probably 30, and got 15 to say yes. So I did the interviews over the phone. I had them transcribed, edited, rewritten, and tweaked, and turned into my book, Cutting Edge Marketing Magic. The world's top marketers share their secrets. That was about 6 years ago. And around this time, I started listening to podcasts. And I realized this lightning bulb went off, and I realized, oh my God, a podcast is basically an interview. I just did 15 interviews. What if I threw the audio up on iTunes as a podcast just to see what would happen? I don't recommend doing this, by the way, because I aired the unedited conference call recordings that I did for the book. So literally you hear the phone ring, you hear me say, hey, Mr. Johnson, thanks so much for doing this. Really appreciate it. What am I doing again? You're doing the interview for the book. Like the intro, you hear all the green room stuff that should not be in a pod. Like it was, the sound quality sounded like a rotary dial phone. If you're old enough to remember what that is, like it was awful. The audio production was awful, but the content was really good. So I aired it, sweat and bullets, like George Costanza, and the podcast took off. It was like, I started getting all kinds of great reviews and great feedback. I mean, in the reviews, it says, if you can get past the awful production quality, the content's really good, which is fair. It was totally true. So I said, maybe, and then some of the folks who had been in the interviews said, hey, that was really cool. Could I do that? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess we can figure it out. And some of them said, like I interviewed some Fortune 500 at Madison Avenue ad agency execs, like guys who did MTV and Viacom and AT&T. And they were like, hey, let's do something together. And I was like, oh my God, I just wanted a book. And this guy's like, he doesn't know we have a much smaller shop. We don't have a building on Wall Street with 500 people. I'm like, okay, I'm sold. So I said, all right, let's figure out a way to make this work and do it for other people. Quick question, for those folks who are on here, are you business to business? Do you sell to other businesses? Are you B2B or are you business to consumer B2C? Give me a B2B or a B2C in the chat box. Okay, Tammy is B2C. Alexandra is B2C. Jennifer, okay, B2C, B2C. Lots of B2C, both. Okay, we got a mixture, awesome. All right, so who this is for. If you've got a high transaction value, which we've already established, this will totally work for you. If you're selling $2 slices of pizza, it just won't work. The margins aren't there. You'd have to sell way too many pizzas to make this profitable. You've got to have about 30 minutes a week in order to do it. And you've got to be coachable. We've literally fixed this process that we built 81 times. So don't reinvent the wheel. Anything you can think of, we probably already tried and broke. So if you just follow our process, it'll work. It's also for you, will it work for $300 clients? Oh, you can ask questions, by the way, folks. That's what the chat box is for. Well, I'll try and get to them all. We've got a lot of people on. Will it work for $300 clients? Yeah, you could totally do it for 300. You'd need more of them than someone who gets 3,000, but 300 could work. It just won't work for $3 clients unless you got one heck of a back end.
And can I just interrupt there too?
Yeah, please.
I mean, we're Taxbot. Like our main product is $100 a year, right? But this is working for us, which I'll explain why. You know, ours is maybe a little bit different, but I think it's a great strategy even for us. Like it's a phenomenal strategy. Once you see how everything ties together, you'll be able to answer that question for yourself.
Okay. If you're tired of being one of the best kept secrets in your industry or your city, if just more of the right people knew about you, it would change your business, then this is for you. This is David Braun, who's a financial advisor. Some of you mentioned selling B2C. He sells B2C. I won't read you the whole thing, but David said, you got me in front of accountants and attorneys I otherwise never could have met. Those are his dream centers of influence in his city. I've already gotten referrals and business from them, and my book isn't even out yet. I'm very happy with my results so far. And the book is just one tiny part of this. We're going to get to all the steps in just a minute. But I mean, what would it be like if you meant, like Jake said, if you had 50 of your dream centers of influence promoting you literally every single week of the year, other than Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's. All right, so 49 weeks out of the year. They're literally, someone is promoting you every single week. Is this a good strategy for loan officers? Yes, we're going to get there. All right, real quick this is Alex Mandossian. In case you don't know, he is known as the Warren Buffett of the internet because he's made over $400 million online. He is the founder of marketingonline.com. Yes, he does have that website and domain. And I'll let Alex talk about for just a minute and we'll dive in.
Hey, it's Alex Mandossian from marketingonline.com.
And hey, this actually was recorded at the same event you and I met at.
Was it? That's awesome.
This is the same year.
We are at a big event here with internet marketers, and it's tough.
Where'd it go?
To meet people in the crowd, and people usually don't stick out, except for one person that I'm going to endorse right here and right now. Seth Green knows his stuff, not only as a fellow podcaster and having a web TV show and knowing how to deliver content, but he knows how to do it for you. He's done it for me, he's done it for others, and I trust him with my clients, customers, and members. And I'm not going to let him talk because this is my show for him, but if you want to get taken out of the crowd and be seen and be heard, don't be a best kept secret. I know I'm pontificating, but I'm telling you, hire this guy because he knows what he's doing and he's got the right team. Alex Mandossian, hire Seth. Is that all right?
That's awesome. Okay, sorry. All right, so let's get into the rock solid system for getting others to grow your business for you. All right, so the only way for you to truly scale your business is to get other people to do the work, to get them to promote it so you don't have to worry about it. And the only way to get others to grow your business for you is by making them part of your Dream 50 team. Jake mentioned your 50 dream prospects, your 50 dream centers of influence. Yes, this would work for promoting a wellness device, depending on how much the wellness device costs. So if I can make you believe the best way to grow your business is to get others to grow it for you, you got to agree with me virtually to go all in. Now, as Jake mentioned, I speak at a lot of conferences. I travel a lot. This guy's not all in. That guy's all in. He's dedicated. So the jokes aren't going to get any better, by the way, just so you know. There's my disclaimer. Okay, so at the end of this, I'm going to make you an offer for $33,010. And you are going to think it is the best strategy for growing your business ever. And the good news is you're not even going to pay a fraction of that price. So just stay with me. But how many clients would you need if your investment was $33,010? If it was $33,10, well, let's see, if your client's 5,000, you need 6. If you're 6 or 7, if your client's 30 grand, you need maybe 1 and a tiny quarter. If your client is Alexandra and she gets 200,000, she needs a baby slice of a client. You're just one Dream 50 partner away from totally exploding your business. So I can't see you virtually. If we were on stage, I would have you all raise your hand and repeat after me. I can't do that on a webinar. So I'm going to ask you to type, I will go type all in the chat box. If you'll go all in with me, if I show you exactly how to do this, give me an all in the chat box. All in.
I already went all in, so I'm not going to.
I know we appreciate that.
I don't want to repeat that. I don't want to be the only one.
You want to repeat it? Okay. All right. So that was my book, Cutting Edge Marketing Magic. We talked about what your transaction value is. We talked about, are you business to business or business to consumer? What business are you in, guys and gals? Folks, type in the chat box. We got loan officers. I got real estate, security, real estate, digital business cards. Definitely, let's talk. That sounds really cool. Real estate. You got a lot of real estate people here. Awesome. Okay. All right. So as Jake mentioned, I started off in the financial services industry before I got into marketing. I've been written about in the industry's 2 top trade journals, Registered Rep, Insurance Newsnet. I've been interviewed on NBC, CBS, Forbes, Inc., I've been nominated by Dan for Market of the Year 3 years in a row. I've been in every single one of Dan Kennedy's newsletters. This is my wonderful wife, Rebecca, and our son, Max, and our daughters, Lily and Ella, at my book signing. That was my first book signing at Barnes & Noble. My 7th book, Market Domination for Podcasting, is on the bookshelves at Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and Target now, which is super cool. Like, my wife goes shopping at Target and goes, look, honey, there's your book. And that was my first book signing, where like total strangers came in and like lined up to get my book and have me sign it, which was awesome. Those are all 7. Book 8 comes out later this month. So what have you tried? What do you do to market your business now? Like, perhaps you whip out your credit card and you join a networking event, right? You go to BNI or the Chamber of Commerce, but then you got to get up at like 6 in the morning, and you got to build relationships, trust, and confidence. And you got to physically show up every week and drink stale coffee. And it's a whole lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it's not very much fun. So maybe you whip out your credit, you try something else that I tried, which was Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads. And not so much. It doesn't quite deliver the results that you're hoping. I don't know if any of you noticed, but your Facebook, if you run ads on Facebook, Trenton can speak to this over at Taxbot, your ad costs have jacked up. They've skyrocketed in the last year because Facebook has this pesky thing like a market cap valuation to justify. So they keep charging us more for ads. So you whip out your credit cards. Ads went up 43%. You whip out your credit card to try and start a Facebook group, but you can't run ads to a Facebook group. You can just pin a post to the top and hope people see it. So you end up with like no results, right? You're doing a whole bunch of things that aren't working. Tammy says yes, right. So what else have you tried? Type in the chat box to grow your business. What else other than stuff that I mentioned? What else have you tried to grow your business? I see referrals. I see direct mail. I see Valpak, cold calling. I see door-to-door. Okay. None of this stuff sounds like fun, right? So let's give you something that will actually work. It's a heck of a lot more fun and a lot less work. So like, who wants to make less work, make more money, right? That sounds good. So here are the 3 secrets: writing articles and publications for advertising. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to give you the 3 secrets. You're going to write them down, and then we're going to break each one down. So number 1 is give to who. You'll understand what this all means in just a minute. Number 2 is you're going to give first. And number 3 is you're going to give how. I know that doesn't mean anything to you yet, but it will. So give to who, give first, give how. So the first secret, give to who is your target market? Who is your ideal customer, client or patient? And then you're going to think one level up. So who sees those people? So for example, if you're a financial advisor and you see affluent baby boomers, accountants and attorneys are your dream referral sources because they see lots of your affluent baby boomers. So give me an answer in the chat box. Let's role play a little bit. Somebody can type in, whoever wants to be a guinea pig. Who is your ideal client? Give me an answer to that, and then we'll brainstorm who else sees them. Stephanie says entrepreneurs. Okay, so marketing manager. Okay, so who else sees an entrepreneur? So I'm an entrepreneur. Jake's an entrepreneur. My accountant sees me. My lawyer sees me. I've got a commercial litigation attorney. I've got a real estate attorney. I've got a labor lawyer. I don't have more lawyers than staff members, but I've got, so attorney, accountant, my payroll person sees me. My health insurance broker sees me. My insurance agent sees me. All of those folks could get you in front. My commercial mortgage broker sees me. All of those people could get you in front of a whole lot of me. Jake could get you in front of a whole lot of me in one shot. Let's see, business owners, CPAs, second home buyers, golf course management. I think that's the most unique one we've got so far. I see coaches, social media marketers, awesome, ranch landowners. All right, so do you guys kind of get the idea of you want to think 2 levels deep. 1 is who's the ideal client, and then 2, who are your leverage sources? Who could get you in front of a whole lot of your clients in one shot? So if I'm Juan Velasquez and I want chiropractors, who sees chiropractors? Same people that see entrepreneurs, but industry specific. What about the equipment manufacturers who sell the chiropractors their tables? What about the CRM system that powers their billing and reimbursement of insurance? Tammy says, so we need influencers. Yes, exactly. But it doesn't have to be the Kevin Harringtons or Seth Greens of the world is the influencer. You may not, I mean, that's great. That works phenomenally well if you can get them. And we could certainly talk about how we did that for Taxbot. But if you want to look at micro influencers, if you're local. So if you are in one specific city, if you are looking for second home buyers in Los Angeles, you want influencers in LA, because a guru of real estate in New York City doesn't do you any good unless you're national. So you want to think, how many of you are local versus national? So if you're local in one specific city or state, type local. If you are national, like you can help anybody across the country, give me national. Local, 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 national, national, local, local, local. Okay, so there's more of you who are local than there are national. So you want to think micro influencer in your town, like the accountant or the attorney in one specific city. So this is John Neiman. This is the end result of a lot of our project. And this is Stop Hiding from the IRS. He's a tax resolution guy. He is the guy that you call when the IRS sends you a nasty letter saying you owe us $50,000 and we're going to like put a lien on your house. You call him and he gets the IRS to go away and stop scaring you. So he's in St. Louis, and all of the people in his book, and we're going to talk about all the other elements, it's not just a book, are in St. Louis. Whereas this is The 7 Secrets to Hypergrowth by Scott, and Scott's an Inc. 500 coach. So Scott interviewed 12 of the top Inc. 500 CEOs, fastest growing privately held companies in America, and then used this to launch his $100,000 a year Inc. 500 coaching program. So $100,000 a pop transaction value. Okay, let's keep going. So what are you going to do with those folks to get them to love you so much that they're ultimately going to promote you 5 times before you ask, and then they're ultimately going to promote you even more when you do ask? So you are going to put them in an audio podcast. You're going to put them in a video podcast. You're going to put them on social media. You're going to put them in a 2,000 to 3,000 word long form SEO optimized blog post, and you're going to put them in a book. You're going to put them in 5 things before you ever ask them for anything. And I'm going to break down what each one of those is. So you could do this for your centers of influence, like we're talking about, but you could also do this for your dream clients. So what a way to build a relationship. We probably get it. I'd have to check our stats, but we get at least a handful of clients every single month because I interviewed them on our podcast. We literally aired an episode today of a guy who's the founder and CEO of a national pet franchise company. And Kevin and I interviewed him together, and Kevin is like, ooh, that was a great pick, Seth. I have a guy in the mobile pet care business. This guy's bricks and mortar. I should talk to them about a deal. And Tim, who I interviewed, is like, oh my God, can I go do cartwheels? Like, that's amazing. I would love to be in business with Kevin. And then I said, one of the questions we asked was, how are you growing? How are you selling franchises? Oh, we do Facebook ads. We do this, we do that. How's that going? Leads to a separate offline conversation that we can dramatically improve his Facebook results. Poof. So I interviewed an ideal client and turned them into business. So you don't just have to do influencers. You can also do client. You can also use this to get in the door with people you want business from. So who do you want? Who's your ideal client? Who do you want to be your joint venture partner or your referral source? Who do you want referrals from? So we talked about Scott just a second ago. This is Lee Richter. Lee owns the Event Planners Association. She interviewed folks in her association and celebrity event planners and folks like that. And then they promoted the book and the podcast, which got her more members. And you'll see that lovely #1 bestseller seal on the front. We'll talk about how you get one of those. This guy's a political consultant. He's a local political consultant. In what I mean by that is if you want to win a local election, you want to be mayor of your city, county commissioner, town clerk, school, whatever, if you have money, he's the guy the hired gun you fly in, and he wins the election for you. He does his thing and runs your campaign, and you win your election. And he used this to interview candidates that he had already worked with who sang his praises, referrals. And then he interviewed candidates he wanted to work with who were then like, oh my God, I need that guy. So it works a whole lot of different ways. But the first thing you got to do is you got to figure out who's your ideal client, customer, or patient, and then who else can get you in the door with a lot of those people, because the whole point of this is leverage, right? So if Kevin and I interview Taxbot, which we did, and then we send out an email to 150,000 business owners about the podcast with Taxbot, what happens to Taxbot? They get some new customers. All right. Number 2, you have.
Can I interrupt you real quick there?
Yeah, go ahead.
So like, from our side, right? Like, so this morning we identified that we would like to get some more clients in the internet marketing space. So our podcast, which we just launched on Wednesday.
Yep. Congratulations.
Which we've been working on. Thank you. We are doing this in that space. And, like one of those guys, like this morning I interviewed Perry Marshall, who's like just, one of the founding people of internet marketing, right? He has lots of followers, lots of people. So we interviewed him on our podcast. It was an amazing interview, but like, if I was to try to go and like convince him to do a joint venture with me, that it takes a long time, right? To do something like that. But like Seth got him on our podcast, and then I had an hour conversation with him. Like I went to the front of the line, like instead of trying to beat down his door. So we went to the front line, we did an hour conversation. And then when that goes live, he's going to send that to his clients, and I'm kind of going in the back door, right? A little bit. To get to know them. So
that will be the unintentional affiliate promotion where he tells them about the show. And then the follow-up process we've created, which we're going to talk about in just a minute, will ultimately get him to do a official quote unquote launch with you guys on purpose, where he does a webinar or he drives everybody to go get your free book or free offer, and gets you a whole bunch of clients directly on purpose. But what we found is and the podcast is just one part of this, but the podcast, the media appearance is such a cool way in the door that they don't perceive you as a salesperson. You're adding so much value 5 times first before you ever really ask for anything, that they think you've built up so much reciprocity. They can't help but we have like a 90+% win rate of people who have been guests then saying yes, because they're like, oh my God, you promoted me like 5 times. The least I can do is email my whole list for you, or whatever it might be. Okay, let's keep going. So give who, give first, give how. So what are you going to do? So you're going to give first. This is Mary Kay from Mary Kay Cosmetics. Mary Kay says the 2 things people want more than sex and money are recognition and praise. Everybody wants to feel important. It's like one of our number 1 human needs after survival. And how many people are making you feel important every day? Not enough. Well, your centers of influence feel the same way. Nobody feels loved enough. So if you make them feel famous, mini famous, if you make them feel loved, what are they going to do for you? Reciprocate. So being a podcaster, you get to interview people, you get to be a reporter, you get to ask all kinds of cool questions, which we write for you. You get to, he picked Perry Marshall's brain for an hour. He probably learned more in that hour that I was probably worth tens of thousands of dollars. Like I've had Russell Brunson, the founder of ClickFunnels, on my podcast twice. I've interviewed him twice on 2 different topics because it was different parts in my business. The first time I interviewed him was on marketing and growing, right? Years and years ago. The second time I interviewed him earlier this year was on how he was hiring so fast, because ClickFunnels is growing so fast, and I'm having the same challenge. I've got to hire faster. How do I build a system that hires and trains faster and faster and faster? So I got half an hour of his time, which had I wanted to buy, if I had been able to write a check, like I would have to join his mastermind group that's $50,000 a year and fly out to Boise and then get my half-hour hot seat. Instead, I got it for free by having him on the show. So it is also a sneaky way if you want to go learn from your heroes. Okay, so you're going to give with an audio podcast. You're going to give with a video podcast, same show. You're going to record on Zoom like we're doing right now. The audio goes to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, everywhere you can think of. And then the video is your web TV show. Then you're going to put it on social media. And because of the way we create the social media posts about the show, your guest will post for you. So Perry Marshall is going to tweet out, Facebook out, LinkedIn out, Instagram out, hey, I was just on Taxbot. So now his hundreds of thousands of social media followers are going to see that, and some of them are going to go check it out. Then you're going to have the podcast episode transcribed, rewritten a little bit into a long form SEO optimized blog post that will rank the beep out of your website relatively quickly. And we'll show you a case study of how that works. Because Google loves regular long form content. Now, if I go write a 2,000 word blog post about Taxbot, and I say, hey, Taxbot, I just wrote a 2,000 word blog post about you. Do you think Jake's going to delete my email? Do you think he's going to crumple it up and throw it in the circular bin? No, he's going to go, oh my God, that's awesome. I got to tell everybody about that. Boom, which has happened, by the way. And then when I have 10 or 12 podcasts done, I'm going to turn them into a book, physical bookstore book. This is Steve Kowitzel. This is Expert Trading Systems. He is a trading financial guy, and he interviewed he's got this ETF, exchange traded fund trading strategy that's outperformed the S&P 500 for the last 12 years. Well, we got a whole bunch of other trading systems people to be interviewed, and they weren't ETF trading people. So the option trading guy's like, oh, I don't trade ETFs, but my customers probably care about them. Why don't I tell them about your strategy? Boom, he gets customers. All right. So here we'll talk about, okay, so we did, who are we going to give to? How are we going to give to them? Audio, video, social media, blog post, book. And don't worry, you don't have to wait till the book is done. As you saw in several of those videos, you don't have to wait till the book is done before you start reaping amazing results. And then how else are you going to give to them? Because it doesn't just stop there. So you are going to send them direct mail twice a month. Yes, direct mail, because they're not getting much of it anymore because everybody's digital. So you're going to send them a cheesy, corny postcard every single month. Like, Happy Valentine's Day. We love talking to you. Happy Easter. Happy St. Patrick's Day, whatever it is. There's a million stupid holidays every single year. There's literally like one a day. My roommate, my freshman year of college, who I couldn't stand, had a poster, 365 reasons to drink. When I was 18, I thought that poster was the stupidest thing in the world. And I was like, because I didn't drink. And as an adult, as a marketer, I went back and bought the poster because there's 365 reasons to send out an email or post on Facebook, right? National Blueberry Day. Like, are you eating your blueberries today? I mean, anyway, you're going to send out a warm and fuzzy postcard once a month. And then once a month, you're going to send out a physical gift. Now, you're not going to spend too much money, less than $50. We tried it the other way. We did the whole giftology thing. We tried sending like the engraved Cutco knives that were a couple $100, and people like, you're trying to bribe me. I'm like, I was, but I wasn't trying to be that obvious. So we found if we send like a journal or a bracelet or a box of chocolates or something small, nobody throws it out. Nobody gets offended. They're like, oh my God, that was so sweet of you to think of me, which is exactly what you want. You want warm and fuzzy. Because if we do audio, video, social media, blog post, and a book, and then twice a month they get something in the mail, you're in front of them all the time, every 2 weeks. So that when the time comes to say, hey, will you promote my webinar? They go, well, of course, man. I can't believe you sent me all that. Of course, I'd be happy to. They're like, they think you're their new best friend. And you're going to accomplish that with the multi-step lumpy direct mail. So this is from our friends Travis over at 3D Mail Results. This is a money bag at the bank, a fake $1 million bill, and then a bag of shredded money. And those are stapled to letters, 3 in sequence, that get the person, if they haven't responded yet, to say, oh my God, of course I'd be happy to promote your webinar. You did so much for me. I'd be happy to return the favor. All right, so that is, who are we going to give to? How are we going to give to them first? And then how are we going to follow up with them so that they will stay engaged after the show's over and keep promoting us to their audience? So how many of you are excited about what we're talking about right now? Give me a I am in the chat box.
Can I just jump in for a second, Seth? So this is like, this kind of blows my mind because I've been able to, like, I really truly have like developed some, and we've only been doing this.
You're like 3 months in. 3 months in,
right? We've got like, I think 10 or so or 12 podcasts like recorded. And so we're ahead of the game and they're going to be releasing and stuff. But I've had interviews with people just like right before this call, we were talking to one and I interviewed her, and like in that conversation, and like we had known each other a little bit, but not that well. And then we started talking about like how the podcast went, and she was really excited about it. And then like we started talking about what we do and then some of the products that we offer. And she's like, oh my gosh, this might be a great fit for my list.
Look at that. It's amazing how it works.
And
you didn't even have to sell anything. You didn't even bring it up. Like, she's like, she's like, oh my God, I talked about myself for 40 minutes. Tell me about you. Like, They ask you to sell them. It's amazing.
Another one I had just recently, like I interviewed this guy, and this guy's kind of one of my heroes. Like, I buy everything that he puts out. And
can I ask which one that was?
Brian Kurtz.
Yep. Brian's amazing. Brian's been a friend for years. He's amazing.
I've spent a lot of money with Brian Kurtz, but he didn't know me, right?
Right.
Really. But we spent some time, and like, we had a great conversations. But now, like, I feel like he was like giving me backdoor information on how to get into like some of his programs, like, and like other people's programs. Like, he just was really connected. He was just really willing to open up his Rolodex and help me do some things that I've been wanting to do that, had I not had that opportunity. And I feel like now I can, like, you know, call him or something. And,
you could.
And anyway, it's just a really cool opportunity. So it doesn't have to be people that you necessarily know. But in fact, many times for us, we didn't have relationships with all these people, and now we have these amazing relationships. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. Are we able to access recording after this? Yes, you are. We are recording this, and we will send out a replay if you registered, and you did because you're here. Okay, but so you're excited, but you might feel like you're drinking from a fire hose, right? I'd like this guy. Like, I've just given you a ton of information on a ton of things to do, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel because, like, there's hope. You're like, oh my God, I could see how this could totally work. So is it okay with you if I share with you how you can get this all done for you, just like we're doing it for Jake? Give me a yes in the chat box. Yes, it's being recorded, Nicole. I understand that you're getting tax calls. It is extension time. You are correct. Okay, everybody's yes. Awesome. Okay. All right, so again, we're picking who we're going to give to. We're giving first, then we're following up with them. All right, so what this has allowed me to do, that's my wonderful wife, Rebecca. These are our kids, again, Max, Ella, and Lily. Max is our star goalie. He is on, I think he's playing on 3 different teams right now, travel teams right now. And I have been to every game, picked him up from every practice, been to every travel tournament, because I don't have to worry about where our next client's coming from. This is Ella. Ella's our actress. She was Annie on Annie. She was Marty in Madagascar. Super exciting. Last summer, we got a phone call saying, hey, we'd like Ella to audition for the part of young Anna in Frozen on Broadway. Can she be here Monday? And they didn't know we didn't live in Manhattan, and it was a Friday. And I said, oh my God, opportunity of a lifetime. So I pulled her from school. I canceled all my meetings on Monday, bought last minute plane tickets, which was not cheap. And we flew to Manhattan, and she did the audition first thing in the morning and kicked butt. And then we spent the day walking around Manhattan, walking around Times Square and Broadway. I showed her where I used to live. Like, we had a Ella and Daddy take Broadway day. She didn't get the part, but she has a story forever of how Daddy flew her to Broadway for an audition when she was like 9. And then because of that, she was just in a showcase with Corey Cott, who originated the role of Jack in the Broadway show Newsies. And again, that was not in Buffalo where I live. So we had to go back and forth a bunch of times for that, which again, I was able to do. It's written me 7 books along the way. Remember, we talked about the $33,010. And I'm not saying any of that to impress you, like you have a kid who's an actress, but to impress upon you that like your whole life can change because you don't have to worry where your relationships, where your clients are coming from anymore. Like if I look at my calendar, we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these webinars in the month of October, 2 of which were with like heroes of mine that I got because I interviewed them on my show. So it doesn't just work for Taxbot. I am a product of our product. Okay, so let's talk about what you're going to get if we do all the work for you. We are going to do the research to help you identify who those 50 people are. We're going to build the list for you. So it's like Jake will tell you, it's a Google sheet. It has all their information on it. If you don't like talking to people, don't do this. It sounds crazy. It's a podcast. You're going to talk to people. But I had a woman hire us, and we scheduled her first 4 interviews, and she didn't do them. And the guest called me pissed off going, what the heck? I had an interview. She didn't show. I was on Zoom waiting. What happened? And I call, I'm Leslie, what the heck? And she's like, I'm too shy to do this. I'm like, why did you hire us? So if you're shy, don't do it. We're going to send a multi-step direct mail campaign to get them to say yes, to be on your show. We're going to send them email follow-ups if they don't respond to direct mail. We're going to message them on LinkedIn if they don't respond to the email. We're going to physically call them on the phone if they don't respond to the LinkedIn. So we're going to touch them like 8 different ways to get them to say yes. Then we're going to write the interview questions for you. We have a multiple Emmy award-winning team that's going to practice with you to coach you on how to do your interview and bring out like your inner Oprah, but you don't have to jump on couches or get anybody to cry. We're going to teach you how to record Zoom, which is very, very tricky. If you can't handle any more business, don't do this, because this will seriously grow your business when you do it. So if you're at max capacity, don't do it, because it's just going to create a whole bunch of people who want to hire you and can't. We're going to type up every word of the recording of every episode you do. We're going to edit those transcripts. Our multiple Emmy award-winning team is going to write chapters about you. Our award-winning graphic designer is going to do the graphic design of both your podcast, your book, your social media. We're going to publish it to Amazon. We're going to publish it to Kindle. And then we're going to do our bestseller campaign so that you become an Amazon bestseller and can put that seal on the front of your book. And then you get instant credibility of saying, I'm an Amazon bestselling author. And then you're going to have a weekly show. It's going to, as Jake said, he's 3 months in and we just launched. It's going to take a couple of months to do get all the people, do the interviews, get it ready. But then you're going to have a weekly show every single week on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, YouTube. Some of those have requirements for downloads. Like, you're not going to get on iHeartRadio till you get like 10,000 downloads. So you may or may never get on iHeartRadio, and that's okay, but we'll get you everywhere we can. And then we do the graphics for social media every single week for every show. And we call those ego bait graphics because it has not only the art for the show, but it has like a picture of the guest with the smartest thing they said in the interview quoted. So then they're like super excited to share it because it makes them look even smarter. And then we are going to rewrite every transcription as a long form SEO optimized blog post, which will dramatically increase your Google ranking of your website. This is Mitch Russo, who says in less than 30 days, his website gained 70 organic keywords per week, improved his ranking by 200,000 places on Google, and increased his social media shares more than 50%. So past performance, no guarantee of future success. Insert standard legal disclaimers here. But if you do half as well as Mitch did with our SEO blog strategy, it generates, his clients have a high transaction value too, could generate quite a bit of business just from that alone. So if we add all that up, we get $33,010. And we have two levels, which we'll talk about in just a minute. You're not going to pay $33,010 because Jake at Taxbot said, you got to give them an irresistible, brain dead, oh my God, I have to sign up right now offer. And yes, it's tax deductible. And yes, you can count it in your Taxbot app. But if you did invest $33,000, would it be worth it? Let's ask Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank what he thinks.
Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington, inventor of the infomercial and original shark on the hit TV show Shark Tank. I'm here to talk about my weekly podcast, Sharkpreneur. I really love doing my weekly podcast, and Seth Green and his team do an amazing job. They actually do almost all the work, okay? I just show up, hang out, get to meet amazing people every single week, and I just want to say you should tune in to Sharkpreneur. And, you know, I love going there because I never know who's going to be there on a week-to-week basis. So thanks for being there today.
Okay, that's not entirely true. He does know who's good. He just doesn't read all of his emails because he's too busy speaking and traveling and running his like 50 companies. So we do tell him, you will know who you're going to be interviewing and you will have questions written out for you. Kevin just doesn't do that. He's like, I don't have time to read the questions. I'm just going to ask cool. I'm good. I'm just going to ask whatever I want to ask. So he just wings it. I would recommend you follow our format, but he just wings it and he's too busy to know who's going to show up every week, but we do tell his assistant to tell him. So full disclosure there. All right. So this is Tony Robbins. Tony says, if you continue to do what you've always done, you'll continue to get what you've always got. So if you want something different, if you want to improve your results, and you do, because otherwise you wouldn't be here, I think we are that something different, and we are the easy button for pulling this off. You could try and do our 83-step process on your own. If you want to go through a whole lot of trial and error, it took us 6 years to get it dialed in. Or you could just let us do all the work for you. Now, there are two reasons why you won't do this. Number one is procrastination. This probably isn't the first web class you've ever attended where you got great ideas. Hopefully you took awesome notes, but there are times when the phone rings, a tax client calls, or your kid gets sick, or life gets in the way, and you just forget about it. And then the offer expires and you missed out, or you just didn't get around to it, right? So procrastination is one reason why you wouldn't do this. The other one's the money. $33,010 would be an expensive investment, maybe. Not if it gets you hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions in business, but it could be seen as significant. So we're going to make you, I'm going to change this. We normally have a 24-hour offer, a substantial discount offer over 24 hours. And then after 24 hours, the discount goes away. But we are recording this on a Thursday, and we have a number of people who weren't able to, who registered but couldn't be here, who are waiting for the recording, which probably won't get out till tomorrow, which is a Friday. So I will give everybody till Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern time before the discount offer goes away. So you have until Monday. I'll give you the weekend to think about it, but there will be bonuses for people who make their decision faster. So again, if it was $33,010, why do we put a deadline to make you actually take action? The 400 webinars ago, we didn't have a deadline, and nobody bought. They just didn't. They just take forever to think about it. They just never bought. As soon, the first deadline we did was 14 days, and magically people bought. Jake, what day did they buy?
Day 14.
Day 14. So we said, let's just move day 14 up, because otherwise everyone's going to buy at the last minute anyway. All right, so it would be $33,010, and if all it did was turn you into a podcast host with your Dream 50 members as guests, would it be worth it? If all it did is turn you into a published author with your dream clients and referral partners, would it be worth it? If all it did is turn you into a weekly blogger with your dream clients and referral partners, would it be worth it? I am biased, but I believe the answer is yes. You're not going to pay $33,010. We're going to give you 28% off, and we're going to drop it down to $23,964, but we're also going to spread it out over 12 months. So you are making 12 monthly payments of $19.97. If at the end of those 12 months, you still haven't finished your end and we keep working for you, you'll keep paying. If you're done, we can just part ways. Or if you want to renew and keep going, you can. We have clients who take it over at that point and say, I'm going to do it myself just because they want to, or they hired someone in-house. And then we have clients who happily re-up and say, give me another year. Now, what happened to the direct mail? It wasn't on the list. So our gold program is the podcast, the book, the blog posts, the SEO, the ego bait graphics, and everything else. That's $19.97 a month. The platinum program includes the monthly direct mail. Here, I'll show it to you. It includes the monthly postcard. It includes the monthly gift. The cost of the printing the postcards, the postage, and the gifts are extra. This is what it costs us to do the work. So you'll get the monthly postcard, the monthly gift, the quarterly multi-step direct mail to get them to participate in a launch of some kind for you. And you get a second book. So instead of one book in one book, 30, 40 episodes of your show in one book, you end up with 2 books in the same year, which adds up to $75,010. But don't worry, you're not going to pay that. We'll give you an even bigger deal. We'll give you 52% off of that one. Let you split it up into 12 payments of $29.97. Now, I went to Syracuse University for undergrad, and my parents spent $120,000 on my college education. And my original undergraduate degree was in acting. It was I was in musical theater. That's where my daughter gets it from. And you see, I am not on a Broadway stage right now, which was my life goal at 18. I'm hoping she gets there for me. So I'm living vicariously through her. So if I had that $120,000 to spend on something else to invest in my marketing, man, I could do 4 of these and then totally explode my business. Now, it took me a long time to figure it out, hire the staff, build the systems to deliver it for my clients. But now I'm the co-host of a show with Kevin, and I do 3 other shows myself, and we're about to launch a 4th with another client that wants me to be their co-host and is willing to pay for my time to do it. So I'm doing 4 or 5 of these, literally almost like one every day. You can certainly do one of them. So all of the details and where you go to enroll are at marketdominationllc.com/dream50. I'm going to put that link in the chat box. Now, we do have a limited supply because this is not a course. This is not an app. This is not a learn how to do it yourself. This is a giant amount of manual labor for my staff. We are literally going to do all the work for you. All you have to do is show up on Zoom and do your podcast interview that we write for you. Everything else we do. So we can, at the moment, hang on a second. Oh, wait, there's more. I'll tell you how many slots we have open in just a second. We've got some cool bonuses. This is for the first 5 people in the door. So I conduct weekly office hours every week on Facebook Live. we charge $197 a month for you to be able to join me every week and ask whatever questions you want. So it's not just about this program. It's about any marketing that you're doing, because we have a bunch of other divisions and we do a ton of other services. So you can ask any question you want about business or marketing. I host a monthly virtual mastermind group where I teach the latest and best of what's working for all of our clients for 2 to 3 hours a month. You get access to those recordings. You get access to the membership site to talk to all the other members and business owners and mastermind with them. You get access to our 10-year library of content. And that is normally $297 a month. And then you get access to my book of the month club. So I'm kind of famous in the marketing industry for reading a book a day, literally a day. I read a book every single day. So 30 books a month. I will send you the best book. I will send you the DVD of those 2 to 3 hours of training, and I will send you the CD of the most impactful Interview the Experts call I did all month. So you will get a physical box with a CD, DVD, and a book in it, which we normally charge $497 a month for. Again, you'll get that for free. You will have a project manager and you will have an account rep who are doing all the work on your Dream 50 program. However, you will also have email access to me, which is priceless. But that is another $991 a month in bonuses that you will get absolutely free for the first 5 people who sign up. Now, before I tell you how many slots we have, I'm also going to tell you how to get it for free. So there's 2 ways you can get this whole thing for free. One, once it works, how many Dream 50 members do you need before you can stop wasting time on other marketing, right? How many joint venture partners do you need before you can just stop running Facebook ads, before you can stop going to networking events? I dropped out of BNI 6 years ago because this thing took off and I didn't need to get up at 6 in the morning anymore. Wouldn't it be nice to sleep in? Wouldn't it be nice to get rid of cold calling, door knocking, boring networking events, endlessly chasing prospects, all the stuff you said you were doing at the beginning of this? Here's the other way to really get it for free. You have 12 months to send 3 clients our way, and then yours is free. Those clients can come from the interviews we get for you. So Jake could say, hey, man, I just interviewed Perry Marshall. And then Perry says, man, that was really cool. That was an awesome show. How did you do that? And Jake says, oh, you should talk to Seth. And then Perry talks to me, and Perry hires us. And Jake does that 3 times, and all of a sudden, he doesn't have to pay for this anymore. So, no, you can't. I see the question. No, you cannot wait to send me 3 clients and then get started, because it'll never happen. I let someone do that a couple of years ago, and like 3 months later, he was like, any day now, I'm going to have a lead for you. I'm like, no thanks. So you enroll now, and then you've got 12 months to get us 3 more clients, and then we will stop charging you for yours. Okay, so Dream 50. So how many slots do we have available? So we have, because the platinum is a lot more work, it's also why it's more money, and it's 2 books instead of 1, plus all the direct mail. We have 2 slots open for platinum, and we have 4 slots open for gold. So that is 2 platinum. I'm typing in the chat box, 2 platinum, and then they are gone. This is not false scarcity. We just physically don't have the manpower, as I mentioned. That's one of the things I'm working on, is hiring more people. 2 platinum, 4 gold, and then we are sold out. The other webinars that I mentioned I'm doing this month aren't on this service because it's the one that requires the most manpower of everything we offer. So
can I jump in?
Yeah, you can actually jump in. Go for it.
So I just we looked at, personally, this is what our story, right? We said we wanted to go out and find these influencers in the internet marketing space, because we know they have big lists. We know they have lots of people who are starting businesses and they need our service. We had been trying to get in with those people. We've been cold calling, some of the people like Russell Brunson and stuff like that, to try to get in on trying to figure out an angle, but they've got so many gatekeepers and stuff. And now if you're in a local market, you might not have the gatekeepers and stuff, but
your local attorneys and accountants are going to still have gatekeepers.
Yeah.
They might be their secretary, and
right.
They are less ferociously guarding the gate than, Russell Brunson's team of 87 people.
Yeah. But even so, my point was on the local side, it's not just the gatekeeper, it's the promoting them first and making them feel special. That's the magic to this, right? And that magic for us opens doors. When we tell them we've got a pod, we want to be on our podcast, and like it honestly like opens doors, and it changes the whole framing of the conversation from like, hey, please promote our stuff, to, hey, we've got something of value. We'd like you to help you spread your message a little bit. And like, so for us, I have been so blown away. We looked at trying to do something like not as elaborate as you were. I mean, we just couldn't figure out how to do it with the manpower. I don't even know how I'd like honestly said, I don't know how you make money doing this. I'm not going to try. I don't want you to raise your price on me, but but like when the amount of like connections and stuff that you pull off to do this, like it's pretty like when you look at trying to do this yourself, like there's no way I could do that for that price of myself. So that's why I went in this with like, hey man, if he can fulfill half of the stuff that he's promising, like this is going to be good. And you guys have been just awesome. That's why I've been so excited to do this. Because you've got that system nailed down, man.
Well, thank you. I greatly appreciate that. It took a lot. It took 6 years of trial and error and a team of like 35 and growing people to pull it off and support it. So I'm thrilled that it works so well, and obviously happy to share it here with your folks. I did promise I would share with you, if you stay to the end, how you can get booked as a guest on the number 6 podcast. That would be Sharkpreneur. So we will give that away as a bonus again to the 6 slots we have available. If you are one of those 6 people, not only will you get everything that you already saw, but I will also make sure we interview on our show, the Sharkpreneur Show. So then not only will that be cool, amazing exposure to our 150,000 listeners, but who are nationwide, actually global, but then we will also, you can also use that in your marketing. You can say, as seen on Sharkpreneur, you will get the logo, you will get the art, you will get to use all of that in all of your marketing as well. So that is our class for today. I'm going to open it up to Q&A. So type your questions in the chat box. I signed up already. Okay, awesome. Congratulations. All right, so we are now to Platinum 3 goal. Early bird gets the worm. Awesome. How do I get this approved with my compliance department? Okay, so I'm in financial services, still own that company. So it's gonna, I speak compliance, so we can help you with that. So you're not gonna talk about any specific financial advice. You're not gonna talk about any specific buy IBM stock. It's gonna be generic, which is how it'll get through compliance. We've got specific stuff to give you to get to compliant, to get through in the financial services or insurance industry, just because I've been in it for 20 years. Do you help come up with people to be targeting? Yeah, absolutely. So that's part of what we do. So we gave you some examples earlier, but yes, so your account rep and project manager are going to help you figure out who you should be interviewing, because we've done this 81 times, and we're going to help you we're going to build that list for you. How would this work as a realtor? So just for an example, who else sees your home buyers? So that might be the mortgage broker, because they got to get pre-qualified first. That might be their real estate attorney. That might be their financial advisor. That might be their banker. That might be a home inspector. I mean, there are like 37 people in the real estate mafia, like that you need to close a transaction. We've actually done it in the real estate market. What city are you in, Karen? I just want to make sure we don't, because we can't overlap. I can't have 10 people in the same business in the same city doing the same thing. It won't work. Sacramento. Okay, you're fine. Our realtor was in Vegas, so you're good. And Vegas is actually big enough. You could support 2 or 3 realtors because there's so many people. But yes, Karen, we will help you figure out who all those professionals are. Can I get some of the guests that Jake got? That depends. So, yep, you mentioned that you were in the digital marketing space. So Jake had an edge in with some of those people, in that Taxbot has a significant list of its own customers and app users, which we could market as a sexy draw for why they should want to be on his show. If you are just starting out, or your list has fewer zeros at the end, can we get to them eventually? It may be, depending on how big your show gets. They're not going to start with A-list guests. So for example, we have another client that's in the LinkedIn marketing space, and he said, oh, I want Grant Cardone and I want all these guys. Very similar list. And I said, they're not, but they did not have Taxbot's list. His list was like 40,000 people. So I said, Grant's not going to do a brand new show that hasn't launched yet, that has nothing, no followers. I said, when we grow it big enough, we might be able to get him if you get that big, but you're not going to get him right off the bat with a relatively small list. Now, we don't have that issue in local markets because your podcast isn't going to get 1 million downloads in Sacramento. It might get a couple thousand, but as long as there's a couple thousand right people, that's all that matters. The very first client, so after I did it for myself on accident and it worked, the very first client who was our guinea pig was a golf coach. And he was making $75 an hour at the country club teaching golf. And he was here, so he was in the snow, Buffalo. Golf season is only half the year. So we launched a golf podcast where I said, who's your dream client? Like, sky's the limit. He said, Fortune 500 CEOs who play in like these charity golf tournaments. I said, awesome. Let's launch a podcast aimed at them. So it was aimed at the business on the golf course and how they were doing deals and negotiating mergers on the golf course. And then we launched your last golf lesson ever program that was $100,000 a year coaching program. And they had to fly him to their private club for the lesson so he goes from coach to private jets, playing in Aruba, playing in Paradise, playing St. Andrews, playing all over the world from these people. Now, we didn't sell the 100K program, but we were able, because of the positioning that he had we were able to downsell the 25K program. And they thought that was cheap by comparison. And he was like, I went from making $75 an hour to 25 grand a year. I can take 4 clients and make more than I used to make all year. So it's all about thinking bigger and outside the box.
I'll say too, like sometimes depending on your market and stuff, I've found that like sometimes going for like the whales, like in this example we just talked about, like Grant Cardone, yes, he's got a huge pull, but it's not like the chance, like you'll probably get more buy-in from like somebody that's a B-list person, and they're going to become more of a raving fan of yours, and they're going to promote you many times to your list. Whereas Grant Cardone gets paid to promote something, right? Like he like you pay him $50,000 and he'll like maybe like mention you in like one little video or something. I don't know how his business works, but he's big enough that like that's how that when you get big enough socially, that's how that game works. And but like your B-level players, like somebody's just under like that level, honestly, those end up being a lot of our better affiliates. And
right, they'll put a lot more effort into promoting. Where Grant does 7 things a day, he's not going to put the effort in without a big check. Whereas someone on a lower level but still well known is actually going to put the effort in and do this on a regular basis for you.
Yeah, and you get for us, it's for us personally, it's been those type of like relationships have been more profitable than like the big one.
Oh, I'm in for platinum. Okay, 1 plat, 3 gold. Awesome. Congratulations. We will reach out to you. Today's Thursday as we're recording this, so you will hear from our team like within 24 hours to schedule your onboarding call, most likely for next week, depending on your schedule, and we'll get you started right away. Other questions? I don't see any others. Okay. Awesome.
I just hope everybody sees like why we've been excited about this, like because it really, we've launched in several markets, right? We went out and we launched in real estate, and that was kind of a grind. We went out and launched, I mean, we pick these markets that we go out and we kind of put our efforts into that market. And traditionally they've been a grind where it's been taken, a couple of years to really get some traction. And like this has just like fast tracked us into, we're like way further ahead than we've ever been in entering into a new industry. And you don't have to do it just to enter into a new industry, right? You can do it to elevate yourself in your current industry. But it's like jumping to the front of the line. It's kind of, I mean, I heard this once. I can't remember who said it. I was at an event. It was at TNC. I just can't remember who said it. But somebody said like, there's 2 ways to get to the front of the line. One, you just grind really, really slowly for lots of years, or 2, you kind of buy your way in. Right. And like I at first I was kind of like, what? And then I realized like once, like there's no way we could pull this off by ourselves to do this. I mean, maybe some people can, but there's no way we could. And so it was just kind of it was like everything lined up. We were trying to go down that route of trying to build that influence, and you showed up, and it was, anyway, I'm just super excited. This is one of the most exciting things that we're doing on our marketing side right now.
Awesome. We are thrilled to have you as a very happy client. We're excited for the results you're already getting and the ones that are in the future. And we are excited to serve all the Taxbot folks. We will get the recording out as soon as it renders. It'll be out either today or tomorrow. And then you have until Monday to make up your mind if you're in or out. If there are any slots left by then, first come, first serve. And we greatly appreciate the opportunity to serve you and get you awesome results and make you our next successful case study. So thank you, Jake, so much for having us here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for doing this. It was pretty cool.
Oh my God, Jennifer, I am from Buffalo. I love the idea. I just not able to do this type of marketing spend. Okay. Well, Jennifer, awesome that you're from Buffalo. Go Bills. Shoot me a message. You know what? Here's the one other thing as we wrap up. I will toss my email and my cell phone in the chat box. If you have questions, shoot me an email or a text first before you call. I am in Buffalo. I'm on the East Coast and I have 3 little kids. So they go to bed at decent times. So email or text before you call. And if I can't get back to you right away, we'll set up a time to respond to your question. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. We are looking forward to working with you. Thanks again, Jake. And we'll see you all on the other side.
Go download the Taxbot podcast while you're at it too.
Yes. Go get the Taxbot podcast. Go like it, review it, give them 5 stars.
It's called The Profit Junkie. We're going to send out an email on it the next day or so. So
awesome.
Anyway, take
Thanks,
care, guys.
everybody.